Hi, I'm Sherry Damaris and welcome to Macro Magic. Today I have with me Lisa Linder, who is a law of attraction expert. So I was very excited to have her on our show and talk about all the fabulous work she's been doing in terms of intuition and law of attraction. And you're an empath too, an emotional empath, I understand.
Yes.
So give us some clue as to, I know how, I've read some Abraham Hicks materials and I know about law of attraction, but for our studio audience, how does it really work? I know our thoughts really are like magnets and they attract certain experiences to us, but how does the whole law of attraction really work?
Yeah. And so actually, it's more about your feelings, is what magnetizes something to you. So the law of attraction states that like attracts like. So whatever it is that you are thinking, feeling, or what your belief systems are, that's what you're going to attract into your life. And there's a whole manifestation process. And really, the manifestation process is a very simple one. People get caught up in they don't know how to manifest, but it's really the only thing that stops us from getting what we want is the resistance that we have around what it is that we're asking for. The manifestation process is really easy. So the manifestation process is basically you're asking for something. It's ask, believe, and receive. And if you ask for something, you're setting your intention about what it is that you want. Oftentimes we forget to ask. And then you have to believe that it's coming to you. There's no possible way through the law of attraction that if you don't believe it, that it can really show up in your life. And then it's all about receiving and being in alignment, staying in a high vibration. So, what that means is really just being happy and feeling good and being in joy. And those are the ways that when you feel those things, that you can draw into your life what it is that you want. It's really about staying in alignment and feeling good.
So what if you think you want something and you pray or you wish for it and it never comes? How do you figure out what's blocking it?
Yeah, well, that's part of the work that I do with people is we look at what the belief system is or the pattern that's really keeping you stuck. And so it's only a belief that you have or some sort of resistance, a thought, a feeling that you can't have it that stops you from getting the manifestation that you want.
So sometimes those beliefs are unconscious though, right? We're not aware of them, or it's a habit, like you said, that we continue since our childhood. So how do
Yeah.
you make that big switch and how do you switch those off and just really believe, solidly believe that whatever you're focusing on that you want will come true?
Well, it's really a practice. So it's about changing your neural pathways to from one belief to another. And all that is practice. So a belief is actually something that you just keep thinking. It's really something that um, you just continue to think over and over again. So you get to choose. It's really all about where your focus is. You can be in negativity and be thinking, I can't get this, it'll never show up. Or you could be creating from a place of, I really want this, I know I can get it. You can start talking about the things that feel good around it instead of focusing on the things that don't feel good around it. And that is really the way that you start to shift your thoughts and beliefs is it's a practice of saying it over and over again.
So feeling is the biggest thing
Yes,
to
your
remember.
thoughts.
Feeling how you feel and get that feeling sort of on the same page as what you believe, what you really want.
Yes. And so
Mm-hmm.
your feelings, your heart is actually 5,000 times more magnetic than your brain. And so it's magnetic, you're feeling around it. So if you're walking around feeling like you already have it, law of attraction has to bring it to you unless you throw some resistance in the path, like I can't get it. You have to be more in the vibration of I have it, already have it.
Mm.
And this is something that people have difficulty with because it's really something that they don't know how to get to, but you can feel whatever it is that you want. So if you want to bring in a relationship into your life,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to, you can imagine a past relationship that you had that felt good. So it's
Mm.
really all about remembering something good around it and being in the feeling of it.
That's really helpful, Lisa. Many people I know are struggling with relationship issues and sort of searching for the perfect one or trying to, remodel or reshape what, who they're dating or who they're married to in a more positive light. And so I love that. I love your actually explanation of these things. Make it really clear in terms of feeling your way into the situation.
Yes. Thank you.
So what if it's something really that you don't believe, like winning the lottery or winning a car or something like that, where it's so out of reach and you sort of have doubts about it? Is it worth pursuing, or do you say just put that on the shelf and not even pursue that?
If it's a desire that you have, it's attainable. The universe doesn't give us desires that aren't attainable. So that's the first thing to know, is that you get to have whatever it is that you're searching for. And it really is just a matter of knowing how to get it. And part of that is really taking small steps. So you can't go from 0 to 100. It's really a process of getting to what it is that you want. So if you're feeling depressed about something or if you feel guilty about something, it's really about moving up the vibration scale. And the vibration scale is like guilt and shame and anger. They're all at the bottom. And then you move into hope, and then you move into acceptance, and then you move into happiness. Like there's a scale, and you really want to be hanging out at the top of the scale where you
Mm-hmm.
feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're in guilt or shame and you can get to hope, you can find something to feel hopeful about. It really raises your vibration and gets you closer to what it is that you want.
Yeah, they say sometimes just petting a dog or watching your favorite movie, anything to get you out of that cycle of depression or sadness or feeling defeated is really helpful just to start the vibration going.
Yes. I mean, my favorite thing to do is to go out into nature because nature is in complete and total alignment. And when you're observing complete and total alignment, it raises your vibration. So there's so many different things that you can do, but it really is just getting yourself to a place where you feel good, whatever that looks like for you.
And listening to music or taking, a hot bath or a massage or something just to get you out of that rut of feeling depressed or feeling negative about a situation.
Yeah, and another thing that I often do is I do a gratitude practice. Gratitude is a very high vibration. So there's always something that you can find to be grateful for, whether it's just your breathing or just that you have all of your arms and legs or whatever it is, your favorite person, whatever it is that can get you to a place of gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for, and it's a really great practice. I have that practice that I do every single morning, and it puts me into alignment, and then that's how I start my day.
That's beautiful. And I love your explanation of why nature, going out in nature, really brings you back to balance. I don't think many people know that it's so balanced. And just going
Yes.
outside sort of sets you in a more balanced mood. Um, so that's really helpful too. How did you start this work? Like, what motivated you to get interested in the law of attraction?
Oh, yeah. So I'm someone that has had a lot of loss,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout my whole healing journey, I became a certified hypnotherapist. I started studying the law of attraction and metaphysics and quantum physics, and really anything and everything I could do to get myself out of that place. I had suffered really severe depression and anxiety, and throughout my life, with all the loss that I had, and then I was in a serious car accident, and we all have a story, we all have our lessons and things that we're working through, but I really needed to find a way to be able to heal myself, and I just started searching and came across, when you start searching and you start asking for answers, the universe always gives you the answers. You just have to be tuned in to be able to hear or see or feel what's next for you. It's really just about taking small inspired actions to get to where you want to go.
And do you work with clients? Do you work with groups? How do you teach them law of attraction?
Yeah, so I do have individual clients, and I do coaching with individual clients, and I have actually a couple of classes, online classes that are coming up,
Nice.
which is a way that I also work with people. And I'm also doing a collaboration with Lisa Gersti. I know she was on your show as well, but we're doing healing circles and classes. We're doing a travel circuit. So I work with groups, individuals, and online classes.
And you mentioned that you're an intuitive empath. What is that? Like, can you explain that for our audience?
Sure. So I'm an empath, and a lot of people are. You can feel what other people are feeling. The intuitive part I did during my process. I think I was always intuitive, but during this process, I really did a lot of work on my intuition. I took intuitive development classes, and everybody's really intuitive. It's just a muscle. Again, it's just something that you practice. And the more you practice, the more in tune you become. And I really use that information to help clients get to what it is that they want to get to. So
Well, that's so interesting. We got a break for commercial, but when we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about your work, and it's specifically how you can coach someone through the whole process.
okay.
Vendors and clientele who will share their stories and images and their experiences right here on RVN TV, Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and Wednesday at 4 p.m. It will be simply beautiful. See you then.
Hi, welcome back to Macro Magic. I'm Sherry Damaris, and I'm with Lisa Linder, and we're talking about law of attraction. And we're going to make up a short scenario problem and see how Lisa can walk someone through the process of manifestation. So I guess we were talking about relationships and how so many people want to manifest that special relationship. So if I'm a client and I come in to see you and looking to find a relationship, what would you have me start doing? Or what would some of the things that you would coach me through to help me begin to visualize or see what I'm hoping, or, like you said, how if you have a desire, it's definitely on the way to manifesting at some point.
Yeah. So I will. So the first part is you really have to identify what the belief is and what the resistance is. There's a reason why something isn't showing up in your life, because you have some thought or belief or some pattern around it that isn't serving you and is blocking it from coming in. So I guess I could just give an example of how I manifested my soulmate relationship. I was actually doing some therapy, and I was talking to my therapist about it. And the belief that I had was that I had to be perfect. I needed to be in a perfect place in my life. I was at the worst place in my entire life. And I thought, well, who's going to love me the way that I am right now? And I think oftentimes we have this belief that I'm not ready for a relationship. And my therapist really said to me, if you will never be in the perfect place. Wow. And so it's really it's an acceptance of where you are now, of who you are now, and knowing that wherever you are is what is going to be drawn into your life. So the first thing you have to do is you have to ask for it. You have to ask for the relationship. You have to figure out what the resistance is that's stopping you from letting it in. And then you have to believe and trust that it's on the way to you. If you don't believe it and you don't trust it, you'll be constantly in a state of vibration where it's not going to show up in your life. And then the next part is you really want to listen to take small inspired action. You have to be able to take some sort of action. If you want to manifest a relationship, but you're not doing anything and you're sitting in your home and you're not doing anything to make that happen. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a very small thing. Like it could be joining Match.com if that's the way that you want to pull in a relationship. It could be going to, a networking meeting or going out somewhere. It's just really about tuning in and seeing how you feel. Because if it feels good, you're going to be in a good place and you're going to run into that person, or it's going to come into your life.
So you're setting up some action steps and then keeping the visualization really clean and clear as to what you want, and then noticing any resistance.
Yes, it's the resistance is the only thing that stops it. So that's the work that I do with people, is to figure out what the resistance is, what's the belief, what's the pattern that's really stopping that from coming in. But there's all kinds of things that you can do. It is a visualization process of and feeling it. Imagine that you're going wherever it is that you want to go with this person that you love, and how does that feel for you? It's starting to really be in the energy of, I already have my soulmate relationship. And when you go into but I don't have it, that's when it stops it from coming in.
So it's almost like hypnosis. You're getting into that sort of mindset, that feeling mindset, and you're not getting pulled anymore by your negative thoughts or your thoughts that things aren't working well.
Yeah, and for some people, it's really difficult when you have these thoughts that have a lot of momentum to them, that I can't have this thing. It's really being very conscious about what your thoughts are. When you start having those thoughts, it's being very aware that you're having those thoughts, stopping them and choosing a different thought. It's really all about where you put your focus. Are you focusing on what you don't have, or are you focusing on what you want and what you want to create?
Yeah, I love that. It's all about focus. We forget that, right? We forget that we're focusing on the negative, or that we're focusing on a fear, or we're focusing on what's not there.
Yes.
So
That's
it's
the only thing
definitely
that stops
focus.
it from coming in.
Wow. And most people think, oh, some higher power doesn't want me to have it, or, I was damaged at birth, or, sort of like this label's been placed on me and I got to carry it the rest of my life. And they really fall victim to that.
Yes.
So
It's
I
not the
love that.
case.
So, as far as manifestation, how long are these people with you usually? Like, how many sessions does it take? Do you see people like immediately start manifesting things, or does it take a while to sort of unwind their old patterns of thought?
It really depends on who you are, where you are in your process, and how much work you're really willing to put into it. So I have had sometimes one session with people who get it and they already know how to manifest, and it's just about releasing what it is. And then I have people that I've been working with for a couple years who have never done any work on themselves and really needed to go through this process. It really does depend on who you are, where you are, what your issues are, and how quickly you're able to take the tools and the techniques that I'm offering and apply them and practice them.
And how does your intuition, we talked a little bit about that, how do you get in, whereas everybody has intuition, but how do you get in touch more with your intuition?
It's really just a process of getting quiet for me. I mean, I'm someone that meditates every day. You don't have to meditate every day in order to get in touch with your intuition, but it's really getting quiet and connecting to yourself and knowing that that part of you, that's your soul, your inner being, your higher self, that's the best part of you. And if you're quiet enough, you can really hear and listen to what it is that your higher self is telling you, and it really does want the best for you, and it directs you into everything that you want. Everything. It's really just getting quiet and listening. Most of the time we're just in constant motion and we don't take the time to listen.
Yeah, especially with social media and all the news out there now, the pandemic and things, people are afraid, and they're sort of cognitively staying in this like really mental mode that keeps them from their gut and their real true feelings and what's really happening inside. So I think that's really important, to be in nature and then also pull down and go into your feelings more, your heart, and listen. Because I think you're right, that's where you get most of your answers. And we teach that in cooking too. What kinds of foods really feel right for your body or really taste right, and not just conceptually think I have to eat this or that, or I have to eat this big meal when I don't feel like eating this big meal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love how you coach and what you offer. I understand that people can come see you, or are you doing Zoom sessions now during the pandemic? How do people make appointments with you?
Yeah, so all of my sessions right now are either over the phone or via Zoom. Yeah.
And how do people get in touch with you? Do you want to share your website, phone number?
Sure. Yeah, so my website is Lisa Linder Transformations, and there's an S on the end. And all my contact information is there, and you can reach me there.
Okay, great. So Lisa Linder Transformations.com, and you can make appointments on Zoom, but you can also look up your upcoming workshop with Lisa Gersey and get some more tips on manifesting, right? And helping you develop your intuition. I hope
Yes,
you create a book at some point, Lisa. I think this is really fascinating, the work that you're doing.
Yes, I'm actually in the process of
Oh, great.
writing a book. Yes.
Because I think the steps you mentioned are really important, but also to emphasize the feeling piece of it, to feel as if it's already happened and to get into that feeling mode and then recognize or observe any thoughts that are going the opposite way.
Yeah. And the other thing is that there is an upcoming workshop about how to live your best life using universal laws. So there's several different ways. It's an online class.
And they
Yes,
can see
that
that
will
on your
teach
website
you.
as well?
I'm sorry,
They can find that on your website as well?
on the website.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Well, thanks for being with us, Lisa. We're going to take home all your great positive tips for manifesting. And we hope you come back on the show at some later point and teach us more. And join us next time for another episode of Macro Magic.